I power walk down to that pile of gummy bears and back. I should probably set the pile out further, or closer, so I can get at him.
So I can get at him. What's up, pups? Happy Monday. How you guys doing? Guys doing all right? Doing hunky-dory? They kind of went weirdly slow but quick. I don't know. I don't know if that's the best description, but it feels like it. But we are back with another episode of the Power Up Podcast. It's a show that talks about pop culture. We read news articles, comment on things, anything that seems good, bad, ugly. Maybe some scripture talk here and there if it happens to fit what we're talking about per se. But yeah, if you're new to the show and you find that you enjoy it, feel free to smash that like button, punch that thumbs up, and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. I usually go live 8 p.m. Central Time with the Power Up Podcast, either solo, me, or with a guest on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 Eastern Time, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do gaming. And coming up is Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. We will be snagging that game, and I'll be playing it on release day. I did not pre-order it just because I would want to get the collector's edition or deluxe edition or whatever they're calling it. I would want a physical copy, but I don't have a PS5. So one day we'll do it. But we are on YouTube, Rumble, and X, so feel free to follow me over there as well. And then any other social media is listed in the description below. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today. We've got news articles ranging from 343, Halo. Apparently we're branding 343 Industries into now the Halo Studio, I believe is what they're calling it. And then we've got some Silent Hill 2 remake comments, since that's kind of been released a little bit. People are playing it. And then we've got some other articles that we can check out here as well. So let's hop into it. Coming over from Bounding into Comics, we've got Nintendo files patents for VR headset, sparking speculation that the Switch 2 could go hands-free. Which is very interesting considering they're doing like the magnets, at least with the Joy-Cons. But that still doesn't mean that it could go hands-free. The anticipation of the official Nintendo Switch 2 reveal is at an all-time high. However, surprising rumors and leaks are running wild across the internet. Bounding into Comics Cider broke down some of the rumors that suggest Nintendo might be working on a new virtual reality and augmented reality device rather than or in addition to a direct successor to the Switch. Here's what kind of the Switch looks like now. Got your, I thought that said old model, OLED model. You got your Nintendo Switch Lite, and then you've just got the Nintendo Switch. The rumored device is a standalone virtual reality device, something Nintendo has yet to step into. While the details are limited, speculations are running wild, sparking interest among Nintendo fans, particularly because, as we all know, Nintendo likes to break away from the pack and do their own thing. What could they have in mind for a unique take on VR/AR? Apparently, this is the VR HMD patent, Mike Odyssey, which is interesting. Man, what if they went with like the Virtual Boy? Because they went with the Virtual Boy back in the day, and that did so well. So while the details are limited, I already read that. Virtual reality in gaming is certainly burgeoning. I've read that. I've seen that word before. But now it is escaping my mind. Burgeoning. Burgeoning?
Burgeoning.
Yeah, burgeoning. Yay, I got it right. I was thinking of bludgeoning. That's why I was getting like, wait a minute. I was thinking bludgeoning. I'm like, there is no L in there, so I know it's not bludgeoning. Oh boy, I got a sneeze coming on. Okay, sorry about that. I thought another one was coming on too. Jeez. Allergies, man. I hate it. I've been having a ringing of the ear since like March, and it just comes and goes, comes and goes. It is so annoying. Anyway, so it seems now that Nintendo wants a piece of that pie, talking about virtual reality, because they're seeing Sony and tech companies having a fair share of the market. Japanese tech giant recently filed a patent for a homegrown VR headset. There are indications that the possible headset will be a mix of virtual and augmented reality, while also pushing the limits further, as the Nintendo patent suggests that a device will be able to maintain certain display elements within your field of view, even as you move your head. Is it like the Victor Max? Moreover, leaks suggest implementing advanced tracking technologies similar to the HTC Vive. This is a motion capture device that is capable of sensing objects around the device. When this is added to a VR headset, it will certainly enhance the overall experience. One of the most interesting features of this patent is that the headset appears to have its own CPU and GPU. This means it can work on its own without requiring a constant connection to a gaming console like the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2. Has it been confirmed that it's the Switch 2? I thought that's just the name they're giving it at the moment. That said, it is no surprise that Nintendo's moving forward or towards virtual reality headsets. One of the own creations can be another industry changer. Playing Mario Party, Super Smash Bros., or some other party games, players could interact with each other in the gaming world fully immersed. With the number of family-friendly IPs under their belt, they could bring a slew of noteworthy titles to your living room with a potential virtual headset. And then the Japanese video game giant hasn't confirmed anything on the matter, but all leaks point out that the company is interested in the market. And in addition to a VR headset, Nintendo has plenty more in store than the rumored Switch 2. Speaking of which, back in 2017, they had another interesting patent. The patent included linked screens, but that has yet to see the light of day. Nevertheless, the unique system would allow multiple Nintendo Switch consoles to be connected, creating a larger screen for multiplayer games. Moreover, players would be able to extend the additional screen to any size they want by just pointing the middle finger, thanks to that tracking sensor within the screen. Maybe it's time for the patent to enter production with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Apparently, that's a patent for a touchscreen controller. Dang. So, I mean, that's pretty much a phone. I mean, this patent, it's like a phone. Come on now. We've seen phones. This patent, it's like a phone. Come on. Sorry. Furthermore, leaks are suggesting Nintendo has a touchscreen controller that is yet to enter production. The first patent for such a controller was filed back in 2015 before the Nintendo Switch was released. The new controller by Nintendo is oval shaped and has a touchscreen display, haptic feedback, and even a voice recognition option. Oh, can we blow the flute and kill all the names of those from The Legend of Zelda? It's not keys; those are like the bats. Pole's yeah, Pole's voice. Players will be able to map controls to their own liking while tilting and moving the controller up and down will result in the same in-game motion. Furthermore, players will be able to talk with the controller thanks to audio AI integration, which will be able to remind players of the selected control buttons. And let's be honest, a controller with few buttons but a touchscreen adds to the notion that gameplay might be more oriented around a VR headset than a controller. And then here you can watch the breakdown of the video from Cider. If any of these developments are true, Nintendo will once again start a gaming revolution once these patents are out. All these devices, while similar to the competition, are unique in their own design. These will counter Meta, Sony, and Apple, among other tech giants that have already used the surprise factor, but to mediocre results. And current, all the devices are struggling with their sales numbers. Just getting close to that end times, honestly. Everything's going virtual. One government, one currency, one entertainment nowadays. So, I wouldn't be surprised. We're going there. But there you go. Interesting. I mean, nothing too shocking because, all game companies now are trying to branch out as much as they can. So, of course, Nintendo at some point was going to want to step into the VR headset. And, in all honesty, Nintendo could probably pull it off. So just as long as they don't, redo the Game Boy, or not the Game Boy, the Virtual Boy. I'm assuming they learned from their mistakes with that one. Speaking of Nintendo, over at Video Game Chronicle, sued Switch mod chip seller, denies claims of any wrongdoing, and will seemingly take on Nintendo without a lawyer. Oh boy. I wonder, Very interesting. So the alleged owner of modded hardware denies any wrongdoing. And a Switch mod chip seller who was sued by Nintendo in July has denied the claims and will now seemingly take on the company without a lawyer. And Nintendo filed a complaint against Michigan-based Ryan Daly, who operates a store called Modded Hardware. The lawsuit claims that Nintendo contacted Daly in March, or Dolly in March, and threatened to sue him unless he stopped selling modded Switch consoles and MIG switches, which enabled pirated Switch games to be played on unmodded hardware. According to Nintendo's complaint, Dolly agreed in March to stop selling the unauthorized devices, but continued to do so, claiming that he was looking for a new lawyer. Nintendo therefore filed a complaint at a federal court in Seattle, accusing Dolly of 6 charges, including trafficking in circumvention devices and copyright infringement. Now, Dolly, who has still yet to hire an attorney, has filed a response to Nintendo's complaint denying any wrongdoing. As reported by Torrent Freak, Dolly kept his answers short to each of Nintendo's claims, either saying denied or claiming that he doesn't have enough information to admit or deny them and therefore denies them. Dolly also listed 17 affirmative defenses in which the defendant introduces evidence which could excuse them from liability, including fair use, invalid copyrights, and unjust enrichment and fraudulent inducement. So now the case will be moving on the discovery process where both parties can start gaining evidence, though it appears that this will continue with Dolly representing himself instead of hiring an attorney. Oh, I hope he gets an attorney. Don't be one of those guys. Don't try to be a hero. Nintendo is scummy when it comes to piracy and all that stuff, because another article we have open is that the other Switch emulator, Ryujinx, also got shut down, but we'll be getting there in a second. So Nintendo's lawyer claims that Dolly not only sold mods to customers, but also offered a mail-in service which enabled players to send in their Switch consoles and have them return modded, often with pirated games installed. Well, here's the thing, though. Yeah, the whole modding situation doesn't really make any sense to me, because it's your property now since you bought it. So to me, if you bought it, I can do whatever I want with it. Now, if I try to take it to Nintendo and be like, hey, fix it because it's under warranty and they see it's modded, that's one thing. But I don't know. I've watched videos explaining this, but to me, a lot of it's just bullshit. It's my shit. I can do whatever I want with it. And as for the pirated games, if I own the game, and I rip it, and I have a digital copy for it, screw you, Nintendo. But again, the thing is, obviously, is that people are asking to have pirated games put on it. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's not what it says. It just says that it often returned with pirated games installed. So the defendant not only offers the hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, so what? Who gives a shit? Who cares? If it's my system and I've already bought it from you, I can do whatever I want with it. But he also provides his customers with copies of pirated Nintendo games. The plat holders' complaints say, yeah, that one's a little iffy there, but I don't know. If I say, here's my product, or here, I bought this, do some stuff with it that allows me to do this, I mean, that's my business. Typically, when a customer purchases a hacked console or a circumvention services, defendant pre-installs on the console a portfolio of ready-to-play pirated games, including some of Nintendo's most popular titles, such as Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, or Metroid games. And then literally that's the end of the article. Okay, what an abrupt way to end an article. I mean, he has to test it, yeah. I mean, he should get rid of the games and just use them as testing. But then again, I mean, they're saying pirated games. What if he actually figured out a way to rip a copy of his own copy that he bought, Then where does that fall in line to? Because if it's his copy, that's one thing. But obviously, customers are saying they're seeing the games already still kept on them. I don't know. Interesting question. So if we want to tie into that, over on Niche Gamer, the Switch emulator Ryujinx goes offline after Nintendo makes offer for creator to stop all development. RIP another Switch emulator. I mean, you could easily still find this online. It's just not going to be updated anymore. Nintendo has shut down attempts at emulating their more recent hardware, like the recently axed Switch emulator Yuzu. Now the Kyoto-based company has shut down another popular emulator, Ryujinx. Prior to being shut down, Nintendo sued the creators of Yuzu, saying it unlawfully circumvents the technological measures of Switch. Yuzu emulator was shut down when its creators agreed to stop its development and pay Nintendo millions in damages. At the time, fans of the emulator said they would just use Ryujinx, another popular Switch. See, that's the thing. I feel this is the thing that Nintendo just won't accept, is that the emulation piracy field, I guess you could say, is like a hydra. You cut off one head, chances are another head's going to spawn. Maybe a couple more, And it's just, at some point, Nintendo has to ask themselves, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because the more you keep going after it, the more of an asshole you guys look. And then that can actually turn off people from not wanting to go and get your products. Because they're going as far as to say, yeah, like, you having a copy is like somehow a copyright infringement. And it's like, if I have a copy of the game and I get a digital backup, that's where the gray area falls into. And if I'm not giving it out to anybody, like, screw you, Nintendo. It's my game. I can do whatever I want with it. It's my system. I can do whatever I want with it. But we know copyright and IP stuff, dealings in Japan is different in the US. But anyway, the Yuzu at the time. Here we go. A few months later, I was kind of like skimming through real quick, like where I stopped. A few months later, the creator of Ryujinx has been reportedly contacted by Nintendo, who made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Oh, come on. Dude, that is straight up mobster lingo right there. Yesterday, GTK-chan, the Ryujinx creator, was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project. remove the organization and all related assets in control of, a developer and moderator from the Ryujinx Discord said. While awaiting confirmation on whether he would take this agreement, the organization has been removed, so I think it's safe to say what the outcome is. They didn't make him an offer. They threatened him. We still haven't gotten an official confirmation from the creator of Ryujinx or Nintendo. However, the download page is now a blank page. The original GitHub page has seemingly been deleted and now leads to a 404 error. The moderator from Ryujinx discovered previously noted the above message is all we know about Nintendo approaching the creator. Anything after that has been the words or speculation of others, including the former moderator, who later said the entire thing was a, quote, threat. No, it was 100% a threat. If it's literally an offer that he can't refuse, and if they actually said that, one, that'd be super funny, but two, like, you know damn well it's a threat. I made him an offer I couldn't refuse. So this shouldn't need saying, but apparently it does. GDK Chan's agreement can't have been in any way beneficial to him, the moderator said prior to leaving the Discord server entirely. So it's clearly a threat. Thinking about it for any amount of time should have made that obvious. His efforts are being the vast majority of the emulator's greatest accomplishments, its entire existence in the first place, and a big part of most of those unreleased features posted above. It's worth noting, even if users split off or rehost alternative versions of Ryujinx, the result of this agreement shows Nintendo will likely shut down those forks or rehosts. This was the case of Yuzu, where its 8,000 plus forks and rehosts were all promptly shut down by Nintendo. It doesn't matter. It's on the internet. People will find a way to get a copy of it. In fact, I can think of a way right now to get it. Because we read an article about, the Internet Archive, archive.org. They were wanting to get that thing shut down because libraries are getting mad. Oh, you got books up there that, blah, 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 something with like the publishing and all that books. I mean, you can literally find software on. Like, this is, again, something that's so ridiculous because these video game companies don't understand that once this gets put out on the internet, it's going to be out there forever in some way, shape, or form. You can try to bury it as deep as you can. There's going to be somebody out there, some, autistic person. He's going to dig in deep to find something. And then if he wants to share it, he's going to share it, Now, whether he should share it and stuff, obviously that's another thing because, we've seen the cancel culture. I mean, that's something that's bullshit. But, a lot of people are still mad about Nintendo with Emu Paradise. Literally had games in there that are gone probably. They're gone forever. Unless someone, was able to back up Emu Paradise all the way. Like, oh, that'll be the day. Can you just imagine someone's like, I saw this coming, so I started doing all I could to just grab everything possible. Nintendo finally does the deed, shuts down Emu Paradise, and then years later, all of a sudden, it's just like, bam, just comes back. That'd be amazing. And I'd laugh. But there you go. Sad day for emulation because Ryujinx, a Switch one, is offline. And it's sad. It's sad because with emulation and the modding community and stuff like that, playing these old school games that are now getting the modern remake versions and not truly experiencing what the game was, with its imperfections intact. Some people like that. Sometimes for me, if I play a game, I know an old retro game that has tons of bugs in the back, or it never made it over to America. It's Japanese. It's in Japanese, and there's a translation patch out there. There's people who fix it. I'll utilize that because people care about it. See, that's the thing is they're hiding behind, well, this is our property and we care about our property. It's like, well, you're going after, websites that may have your ROMs, but are you doing anything with those old school games? No. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that the Game Pass for Nintendo is uploading stuff, but we've seen Nintendo put up ports and inferior versions of the same game that just can't compete against a ROM. Like, it's like maybe people wouldn't get mad at you if like you actually successfully did like a 1-to-1 port, or like, there's always an excuse. Oh, the color's a tad bit off. The software can't, back in the day was for this, and it's kind of weird like this. It's kind of like with the Lollipop Chainsaw game that port that just got released, where people are looking at the jiggle physics, and we're making assumptions, and then it's like, no, it's due to the engine, but it's like, well, that should have been something you should have seen right away, But whatever. Speaking of OGs, we'll be getting up to the Final Fantasy. I do have a Final Fantasy one. I was trying to make a cool segue into the Silent Hill 2 remake, but I failed. But Final Fantasy series creator Hironobu Sakaguchi says Final Fantasy, what is that, 6, had a massive influence on his new game, Fantasian Neo Dimension. Dude, look at that guy. Look at that guy. Hironobu Sakaguchi, the legendary creator behind the Final Fantasy franchise, recently shared how his replaying of Final Fantasy VI after 2 decades had a significant influence on his latest project, Fantasian Neo Dimension, and that a creative reawakening with Final Fantasy VI. During a press interview given to One More Game at the Tokyo Game Show, Sakaguchi referred to Final Fantasy VI as the epitome of what I felt was my creative JRPG. This rediscovery helped shape the direction of Fantasian Neo Dimension, reflecting on the impact and recent playthrough of Final Fantasy VI had on his creative process. Sakaguchi explained, playing Final Fantasy VI for a Famitsu live stream, it made me realize how this is really kind of the origin or kind of epitome of what I felt was my creative JRPG. I still need to play Final Fantasy VI. I played 5. So after playing that, after having spent 20 plus years away from it, made me realize that this is the type of feeling that I really want to invoke in my game, he added. And then Fantasian Neo Dimensions builds on the success of the original Fantasian, promising an even more immersive experience with its upcoming console and PC release compared to its initial mobile outing, by blending Sakaguchi's nostalgic JRPG roots with modern gameplay innovations. And according to him, his emotional connection to 6 guided the creative direction of the game, thus resulting him going out of his way to ensure that his new title would bring the essence of classic turn-based RPG to a new generation of players. In other words, he wanted the game to have the same level of storytelling and strategic gameplay depth that made so many Japanese-developed 90s RPG so beloved by fans. Well, that's a great realization. I hope he's successful with it, because that's definitely what a lot of people have been asking for. Just a good, solid storytelling game. And if RPG or JRPG, genre or strategic gameplay is what it needs to do it, then do it. So while he continues to make waves in the gaming industry, he's also a self-proclaimed fan of Final Fantasy XIV. His Square Enix's massively popular MMORPG. During the interview, Sakaguchi admitted that he remains an avid player of the game, often diving into raids and missions, even after long travel days. So right now, I'm a big consumer of RPGs, and I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV every day. I just arrived in Japan yesterday, and I was already playing a few hours in the 14 raids, he said. His dedication to 14 has been so intense that he even joked about missing meetings due to his commitment to the game's raids. What a player. What a baller. And then there's a picture. And then despite his current fascination with 14, his heart remains tied to the classics, particularly 6. He has described 6 as a turning point in his career, and he made clear that its influence on Fantasion Neo Dimension cannot be overstated. Fans of turn-based RPGs can expect Neo Dimension to capture the spirit of 90s JRPG. In short, he is promising it will offer a nostalgic yet fresh experience for today's gamer. And I think that's what a lot of people want nowadays. That's what a lot of people are asking. By merging the intricate, I feel like it should be intrinsic.
Intricate.
There we go. I don't know why. Words, man. They get me good. By merging the intricate. Oh my gosh. I literally just said it and it's just slipping my. Intricate. There we go. By merging the intricate storytelling and strategic gameplay of classic JRPGs with the visual advancements of modern games, Sakaguchi hopes to create a game that not only appeals to old school fans, but also engages new players. And then Neo Dimension is set for December 4th. And then encapsulating his journey from the creation of Final Fantasy VI to now, the highly anticipated game is expected to be a significant milestone in his career. And then, like I just said, it's scheduled for release on December 4th on your PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox Series XS, Nintendo Switch, and PC platforms. And then you can see the trailer. There you go. Well, that was kind of an uplifting article. I like that. I'm glad he's found that passion, and it looks like it stems from nostalgia, which is something I do feel that we desperately need back into the gaming community, because that nostalgia flame is being choked out by wokeness. Make no mistake, it is definitely happening. Now, sometimes that wokeness is trying to be clever and masquerading, into a seemingly successful certain games, thus as Silent Hill 2, which I guess we could start with the Video Game Chronicle. And the original Silent Hill 2 director is very happy with Bloober's remake. So Masashi Sugiyama talks about the adaptation of an over-the-shoulder perspective. Now, I'm still sus with Silent Hill 2. A lot of people are saying, ranking it high. You're in your 8s, your 9s even. Haven't really seen 10 out of 10 stuff. I'm still sus about it because you can make the graphics good. You can, put on the illusion that you're kind of listening to people, meaning people. There was backlash with James looking older, so they younged him up. But of course, they did not touch any of the females in the game. And of course, there's still censorship from what I've heard, mostly with the famous Pyramid Head scene. And even after watching some streamings of the game, I actually saw the point where they tease, fans by having Maria show her old dress. Now, they're going to try to say that that's like a callback or it's like an Easter egg. To me, that's giving a giant middle finger, because you spent all that time literally modeling her old outfit and crap like that, and you can't have her be equipped in it. Like, what the hell? Like, these people don't care. They don't care about it. They masquerade Easter eggs and callbacks to the OG and stuff. Like, that's what they claim they're doing, but really it's their actions and what we've seen them do, not just in Silent Hill 2, but with other video games as well, is They're not fans of the OG, and they don't care about it. This is to insult you, not to tip your hat and saying, this is for you old school gamers out there who liked Silent Hill 2. And we have another article here because a Remake consultant said the world would be better without gamers. So that gives you a hint. Always the consultants, too. Notice that, too. Notice how the people who get called to be consultants on the game and shit like that think that they have some sort of, overarching reach on, like, yeah, I consulted, I was a part of this. And it's like, half the time it's like, dude, if anything, you bastardize it in some way, shape, and form. And so, like, it's like the insertion of themselves in there, too. But we're getting ahead. But the apparently the original Silent Hill 2 director is very happy. But let's see what he actually says. So the director of the original Silent Hill 2 has expressed his excitement about the upcoming survival horror remake. So the new title would hit PS5 and PC on Tuesday, so that would be tomorrow. Has been developed by a Bloober team, the Polish studio behind The Medium, Layers of Fear, and Blair Witch, and don't those games suck? Because they haven't stood out to me. I haven't seen that raging in the news. But anyway, so unlike the fixed camera system in the 2001 original, the remake adopts an over-the-shoulder perspective. Now, I'm fine with the over-the-shoulder perspective because we're seeing that, with the Resident Evil remakes and stuff. But I do think that those fixed camera angles, that especially in Resident Evil, added to the charm. It added to the unsettling, like, feeling that you had inside of you to, like, hurry up and go, and also added to this, the worry factor or the scare factor or what have you, because you can't, rotate around to see anything. That's part of what makes it, a thriller, psychological thriller, a survival horror game, and stuff like that, is because you can't peek around the corner. You just have to go in there and hope that there's nothing right there. Now, at this point, hopefully players, people have played the game enough times. There's enough guides out there that you can diminish those surprises by just reading it or playing it enough to know, okay, I know there's something back there. But that's, sadly, that's not happening in a lot of the games nowadays, which is unfortunate. But writing on X, the original Silent Hill 2 director Masashi Shobiyama singled this out as the key reason he's excited to play the game. Okay, so notice that right there. So games and technology are constantly evolving, resulting in significant differences in constraints and levels of expression, he said. This is a common issue with media arts in general, but it is not easy to maintain and appreciate the environment of the time. I think the value of the remake is that a new generation can play it. All right, so keep that in mind too. Notice how he's saying remakes can be valuable because it gives a new generation an opportunity to play it. I agree with that, yes. It's what they do with it is the problem. As a creator, I'm very happy about it. That's fine. It's been 23 years. Even if you don't know the original, you can still enjoy the remake as it is. Here it is, right here. Whether it's good or bad doesn't affect the original. And that is true. The original is solidified in time as being one of the tops, if not the top best horror game of its time or of all time. But look at what he said. He's saying the original is what it is, and whether the remake is good or bad, it's not going to affect the original. And that's what some people are going to miss about this. That's what some people are going to misconstrue what he's saying. And then he added, the thing to note is the change in camera perspective. The change in playable camera has a significant impact on many aspects. Combat, level design, art creation, etc. While the impact on the story may be relatively small, it brings a big change to the play feel of the game. To be honest, I'm not satisfied with the playable camera from 23 years ago, and that's totally fine. I can understand that. Depth and angle were limited by the processing load. It was a continuous process of hard work that was not rewarded, but that was the limit. The over-the-shoulder view definitely adds to the sense of realism. In other words, it makes me want to try playing the even more immersive remake of Silent Hill 2. The new game has been well received by critics, earning its score of 87 and 86 on review aggregation site Metacritic. And then this is what they're saying. It's skillfully handled retelling, one of the medium's most loved. No, it didn't skillfully handle it. See, this is what they want you to do. So this is what I'm talking about with the smoke and mirrors. There was such backlash. There was a divide because they made James look older. They uglified the women. And they censored parts of the game that literally made the game what it is today. And these people claim that they love the game, that they're fans of the game and stuff like that. They're not. They're not. Do not let the smoke and mirrors of the Silent Hill 2 remake fool you with them giving it good scores. It can, if it's a good game, it can be a good game. But don't let that trick you into thinking that we didn't notice what they did in terms of censoring it, in terms of declaring that they want to make it for the modern audience. The damage has already been done. They can go ahead and claim that, oh, it's earning all these scores. You know, I think even there was an article, could even be down here, that the remake is sticking it to the doubters. No, it's not sticking it to anybody. Because even with the look at this. He's saying that he's very happy with the blooper remake. That's not what he said. He's tipping his hat to the over-the-shoulder camera angle. That's what he's tipping it. That's what he's happy about, is that, yes, we now have the technology that I could fix something that bothered me in the past. And because of that, it makes me want to try the remake of Silent Hill 2. The over-the-shoulder adds a sense of realism. That's it. And look, he even states whether it's good or bad doesn't affect the original. So I think he's aware of the backlash that it got, and that he's trying to tell people, look, the original is out there. It will be out there forever. And that right here, very happy with the remake. No, he's happy that a remake was made so that a new generation can play it. That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying. And he's happy that because of the remake, that now with the updated technologies, new generations can play it. But this is just him. We've seen what these people did to the OG game. They're throwing out, they're throwing in Easter eggs of Maria showing her old school dress, clothes and stuff. And people are like, well, yeah, it's kind of dated at the time. Who fucking cares? That's when the game was made. It's going to be dated. That's the whole point of a remake. Is that dateness can stay inside of the game. You just upgrade it. You just remake it from the ground up to the technology that we have today. Prime example is Shadow of the Colossus. I will always point to Shadow of the Colossus as the perfect prime example of doing a remake and not fucking changing a damn thing. They hit that out of the ballpark. And the little stuff they didn't take away like what these remakes do nowadays. They add to it. Now, obviously, there's a difference between the OG team coming back and making the story better and another studio coming in doing something different, but it needs to add to the story. It doesn't need to take away. Taking away the scene with Pyramid Head does, in fact, affect the story. It's all about the psychology of James. And there's a reason why that scene was in there. there's a reason why Eddie looked the way he did. In fact, I find it funny because they made Eddie even fatter in the game, which I thought they were against, fat shaming and all that shit. But they're perfectly fine with having it there, and they're perfectly fine with, making feminine features look more manly and stuff. So I just wanted to read this. They can go ahead and say that I'm like stretching about what he says, but I mean, we read his quote. I'm not seeing him complimenting the remake as being like a perfect, remake of the game. What I got out of this is that he's happy that a new generation can play it because it's a remake. And he's happy that there's a time that the over-the-shoulder can add to the sense of realism that he couldn't get based on the camera angle from 23 years ago. That's all he's saying. So don't let these people fool you into thinking that, that everything that was done in the remake, he approves. And this is a prime example because we can read from that Park Place that a consultant that worked on the Silent Hill 2 remake suggested that the world would be better without gamers. A consultant on Konami and Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake previously suggested the world would be a better place without gamers. Without gamers, you wouldn't even be consulting any sort of games, you retard. Jacob Geller, there you go, who works for Hit Detection LLC, a company similar to Sweet Baby Inc., that aims to push wokeness in video game, announced his involvement in the game while sharing a screenshot from the game's credits. He wrote on X, "Surprise, I consulted on the Silent Hill 2 remake, which means you probably said, that's not progressive enough. We need to change it. I had a really great experience working with the team. Because of this, I won't really be talking about the game publicly. Have fun figuring out your own takes." Well, people would let you know what your takes are. You kind of listen to them with youngifying James, since a lot of people bitched at you for making him old. Sure as hell didn't listen to it when it came to the women. So given Geller works for Hit Detection, it comes at no surprise that he previously suggests the world would be better without gamers. He responded to a post from Compulsion Games writer Bijan Steven, who wrote in 2019, "I'm curious, what's the dumbest idea you have that you nevertheless believe will, if implemented, make the world a better place?" Geller responded, "No gamers." See? This outsider says that you, the gamer, should not be the ones telling companies how to make games. They're the saviors. They're the saving grace because they're up to date on the trends, They're progressive. They know what they need to do to give the people what they want, which they obviously don't. Just look at the monetization director of Ubisoft. Literally broke down in tears on LinkedIn that I think is now deleted, saying on how people can cheer and clap and applaud that a company is going under. Easily. Because you guys don't listen to gamers. Because you guys apparently don't want to make money. So you can crash and burn. And people had plenty of time to change the ways. They had time to get out the weeds and the poison, to remove them, and to actually go back and start listening to games. Because to gamers and to people who actually care about games, because it's been done in the past. That's the thing. See, this diversity and this equality and all this crap that they're spewing needs to happen in gaming. It was already happening. It just wasn't their version of what they think diversity and equality means. In fact, 80% of the time, because a broken clock is right usually twice, disregarding AM and PM, they're the ones who are the bigots, who are the racists, and who are, the sexist, and all the isms you want to throw at them is that they project that onto us. They project that onto the people, saying, well, they're just what did the one guy say? The loud minority? No. No. If you're losing money, because people aren't buying your game, those aren't the loud minority. Those are the customers telling you that you done fucked up and you need to change it. So in another unsurprising post, also made in 2019, Geller wrote, honestly, the fact that gamers don't think of Taro and Kojima as political totally fits. Politics in games means anything about race and gender and nothing else. See, look at that. Look at that projection. These people claim that they're trying to create equality for everyone, but they analyze life through race and gender and sexuality and stuff. Literally the purest, rawest form of all the things they say they're fighting against. So in 2018, he also wrote, I totally understand the defensive response to our medium, but it's not at all inaccurate to say that far-right groups are trying to recruit gamers. Yep. Again, it's always the far right. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. Any extremists on their side or that happens on them, there's always a damn excuse. Well, that's just one guy. You know, you don't need to marginalize everyone. But you guys, yeah, you're all this. Much of today's alt-right grew out of Gamergate, and it sympathizes and organizers like Bono and Milo preyed on those groups. And then in 2018, well, again, in July in 2018, he also posted, gamers lose their minds if someone reviews Destiny 2 without having played 10,000 hours of Destiny 1, but can't understand that decisions about uteruses? Wait, the decisions about uteruses shouldn't be made by people who don't have them. I like how I read uteruses wrong just because I figured he was going to be throwing out some retarded buzzword. This disdain appears to go back over a decade. In 2013, he posted, maybe there'd be more girl gamers if guy gamers didn't act so incredibly unliked. Maybe you should just accept the fact that the video game industry and the video game field consists of literally people like you, white gamers. And he probably is ass mad because he's probably really unlikable. So again, he's projecting that, oh, guy gamers are just incredibly unlikable. And there'd be more girl gamers. Again, Geller's posts that believe his thinking is not surprising. In fact, this is just another piece of the mountain of evidence that fits novelist Isaac Young's theory, in which he noted that the current crop of Hollywood and video game writers are part of a seething artistic class that wishes to pervert all films, TV, and is that supposed to be literary or literacy? Literary achievement for the sake of applauding themselves and humiliating your enemies. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Nail meat hammer, exactly. Furthermore, he shared that this class cannot conceptualize anything except through politics. Oh my gosh. Or wait, no, is Geller saying that, or is Isaac Young saying that? He added, Hollywood exists to reward its friends and punish its enemy, and its products are emblematic of that fact. Hollywood does not exist to entertain you. It is an organ of a greater international apparatus that has declared war on native populations of the West. Yes, and the funniest thing is it wasn't like that back in the day, because Hollywood used to be very conservative. That's why the old generation people, the old conservatives, are still kind of around in Hollywood, and they really can't be touched. Because they're too well known. But you try to get if you're a conservative and want to go into the acting field, good fucking luck. And then the people like these retards have the gall to say, oh, they have to make it all about politics. It's like, no, you created it about politics. You made it about sex. You made it about equality. You made it about DEI and blah, 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 blah. And then when people call you out on your bullshit, it's like all this hate comes from you. It's like, no, you hated the field to begin with. Because something about it pissed you off because it wasn't about you, so you had to poison and infiltrate it to make it about you. And then what do you make of, oh, that's pretty much the end of it. What do you make about Geller's comments? To be expected. It's to be expected. Again, this is why with Silent Hill 2, I've been noticing that they're really trying to find that one game to really solidify the fact that wokeness and DEI and stuff can be successful. They tried it with The Last of Us Part 2, and it held on for a while, but then that faded away. So then the next thing, they decided to go all out with, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. They tried it with that. That failed. That went down. So then they try it. Then they just said, you know what? We're just going to go balls to the wall. Concord, Dustborn. Boop. Failed. Again. They are trying to find the game that they can get away with in order to trick people into thinking that it does work. It does sell. It does it. And Silent Hill 2 Remake is another one. It can be a good game. It can be a solid game. A lot of people are saying they enjoy it, but don't let that trick you into thinking that just because it's a good game means that changes like this, the chins like this, the removing of the pyramid head scene, the bastardizing of Maria and stuff like that, is accepted. Because it's not. It's not accepted. I don't accept it in the fact of, if you're trying to tip your hat to the OG, why is that stuff remade? And then you'll get people like, well, if you looked at the concept art of her, she was kind of heavy. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Was she heavy in the final product? No, she wasn't. So that's fucking irrelevant. Because what you saw in the game was the final accepted concept. It's called concept art for a reason, But yeah, they're trying to, they're still pushing really hard. They're trying to do stuff like this, like with the Silent Hill 2 remake. That's why you're seeing everyone being like, oh, it ranked good, so that's sticking it to the downers. No, that doesn't mean. We like the current a Golden Joystick Game Awards. The Black Woot Black? Oh my gosh, that name's slipping me. Man, I can't even fucking talk. Black Myth Wukong didn't get nominated. Stellar Blade didn't get nominated. See, this is the thing. These ratings don't matter anymore. They don't. Because they're just going to slap on a number. Like any game that's gotten pushback, like at this point, you might as well just expect them to rank it high. Because that's what they want. Because people are going out and be like, oh yeah, it's getting high-ranking games, and even look at this, even the original creator is saying it's good. Listen to what they're actually saying. He's saying the change in the camera perspective is good. Is he like? I want to know his thoughts about. Hey, what'd you think about them fattening up the women in there? What do you think about them showing the OG Maria dress? Teasing like, oh, look at it, it's right here. Going out of their way to texturize, make it an asset, model it, all this stuff, just so you can't have her wear it. Maybe you can, I don't know. Look at this. See, that's the other thing too, is that callbacks, Easter eggs, and stuff like that, like they're gonna hide behind that, saying, well, that's just a callback to the OG fans and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's gotten to the point where that's not a callback. That's a middle finger to the OG fans saying, ha. Like, we know this is what you wanted, but we're assholes, so we're not putting it in. Go fuck yourself. That's what these Easter eggs and callbacks are coming to with these remake games for modern audiences. And I guess that we can now, switch on over to our other kind of big topic. Speaking of, respect and callback and, honoring a good series, 343 Industries has rebranded to Halo Studios. New Halo games being built in Unreal Engine 5. There you go. Look at that. Doesn't Master Chief look absolutely amazing? Doesn't that guy look like a guy who's built? You know, what is he, like going on 60 now? I guess he just decided, well, now it's good as ever to just let the dad bod go. You know, let the dad bod start, because that's what Spartans do. 343 Industries has announced the rebranding to Halo Studios. News confirmed alongside the reveal of new Halo games are being made in Unreal Engine 5. Details on the new Halo games are scanned through multiple new projects and are being made now in Unreal Engine 5. The previously released Halo Infinite will continue to be run on the studio's proprietary Slipspace engine and will keep getting updates and content. To help showcase what a future Halo game built in Unreal Engine 5 will look and feel like, the team made Project Foundry, which they teased as neither a game or a tech demo. Rather, the new entity is the exploration of what is possible with a Halo game made in Unreal Engine 5. And then here's comments from key staff on the changes of the future of Halo, plus a new video. So we've got a lot of quotes there. Maybe we'll watch the video here. But going over to that Park Place, multiple new projects claim they are changing the recipe for a new Halo games. So again, they've rebranded using Unreal Engine 5. A new dawn. We're ending the next chapter of the franchise and changing the recipe for how we make Halo games. Go behind the scenes with Project Foundry to explore the creative potential of Halo in Unreal Engine 5. So in a YouTube video announcing the rebrand as well as the new game, it provided more detail on Project Foundry, with the game's leading FX artist Daniel Henley sharing, Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5. And then art director Chris Matthews added, Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry and Halo lore. It's the place where Halo rings are born. It's not a game, it's a research project for our studio so we can prepare ourselves for the next step of making games. Yeah, look down. There's a preview of what we're coming to.
Chris Matthews, take one. Mark.
Oh my gosh, look at
This is
that.
Casey Wu, take one. Mark.
Look at the...
I was told that I can just be my authentic self, Chris.
For 6 years, I don't want to be in front of a camera.
Of intricate stories.
Oh, yeah, right here.
I feel like I never
right
run
there.
out of things to do.
Different meaningful characters.
Melissa Boone,
What made that take place across lots of different
Chief of Staff.
worlds, have lots of different meaningful characters.
What made Halo
You go on her
successful? Beginning, what is the
profile,
legacy
you
of
know,
Halo? What's the
LinkedIn or
soul
what
that we
have
wanna
you.
bring forward, and what's the craft of
Activist,
making
man.
Halo games, and how do we set
Does
our
that person
studio
look
up
like a
best
Halo,
to go
like a
deliver
person who
that?
loves the Halo
We knew we
series?
had to make a
No.
change
Do these
in
people
order to take us into
look
the
like
future.
that?
When I first
No.
heard about Halo moving to Unreal Engine, my first thought was, this is going to be a really hard secret to keep. About Halo moves.
Focus and thinking about this. We can Halo.
How far we can push things using Unreal 5.
Said, hey, there's this thing called Project Foundry that I want.
Based around the same concept of the Foundry search project game.
I don't get why they said this is not a tech demo when literally you're using the tech to
original
like
Halo
see what it
franchise
looks like.
Was a graphic showcase. And that's what Halo needs to be again.
Master Chief just weirdly looks fat to me. Like he looks short and stocky.
No, interlook.
That really further thing.
I mean, if you want to watch the video, you
That's really
can.
passionate
New Dawn,
about.
Halo Studios. A bunch of people, you know, claiming, you know, we're doing all this, working on the assets. Company has multiple projects in development. We're really excited to not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio. We are looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on kind of get further and further into their development cycles. Key art for Halo Infinite. Yeah, remember this? So, yeah. Do you guys have, like, does anyone have hopes for this? I don't. I mean, I was never a really big Halo person. I played them all and stuff like that, but we've seen where it's going. And those little, like, hints of using, you know, Unreal Engine 5 does not look very hopeful for me. Did they just, like, quote, like, pretty much just quote the movie? But yeah, once, like, I mean, this one, like, red flags as well. Mostly, like, we've seen this before. This sure as hell ain't going the way. The one chick who's, like, head of everything, I mean,
about the look, be excited about the future.
I mean, that's a dead giveaway of also red flags.
The craft of making Halo games, the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's successful at the beginning. What is the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward? And
Take place across lots of different worlds, have lots of different meaningful. I love intricate stories that take place across lots of.
Hey, fans are going to be excited about the future. Real.
Before, we really had to split our company.
For show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5.
New studio art.
How far can you bastardize things using Unreal 5 is probably more of the accurate question. Holy crap, there's a lot of weird ads in there. But yeah, I mean, the Halo one I wasn't really like super, like, I'm not surprised sort of thing, but I wasn't super like into it and stuff like that. Studio head Perez Hintes, we're back on Niche Gamer. If you really break Halo down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie, the one that started everything, the good portion, and then chapter 2, 343 Industries, the bad portion. That's really why they're making it now Halo Studios, is they got to push themselves away from how much people hate 343 Industries. Now I think we have an audience which is hungry for more. I think they're hungry for it to go back the way it was. So we're not just going to try to improve the efficiency of development, but change the recipe of how we make Halo games. So we start a new chapter today. We believe that the consumption habits of gamers have changed. No, you. Yeah, it's changed. That's why you're making stuff for the modern audience, but yet you can't define what the modern audience is. The expectations of how fast their content is available. In Halo Infinite, we were developing a tech stack that was supposed to set us up for the future in the games at the same time. It's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcased in Foundry is expected to be in projects which we are building or future projects. One of the things I really wanted to get away from was the continued teasing out of possibilities and must-haves. We should do more and say less. For me, I really think it is important that we continue the posture which we have right now when it comes to our franchise, the level of humility, the level of servitude towards Halo fans. Somehow I doubt that. This is Pierre Hintes. This is still what he thinks. Should talk about things when we have things to talk about at scale. Today, it's the first step. We're showing Foundry because it feels right to do so. We want to expect. We're showing Foundry because we need to separate ourselves from the 343 Industries brand as fast as possible. So hopefully we can trick people into thinking that, you know, it's not 343 Industries, but it is. Next up, we'll be talking about the games themselves. We want to explain our plans to Halo fans and attract new passionate developers to our team. We have a disproportionate focus on trying to create the conditions to be successful in servicing Halo Infinite, but switching to Unreal allows us to put all the focus on making multiple new experiences at the highest quality. COO? I mean, now I'm getting to the point where, like, this just feels like this is just fluff to me. They're just, you know, again, that smoke and mirror sort of thing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Ugh. Yeah. That's pretty much all I had for tonight. Just my biggest thing was you look at this, and then we played that video, and you saw who's in charge of it, you know, and then you just look up who it is, and then you guys saw that rainbow flag that we saw earlier, and you just know what's going to happen. You just know. So they can spout all this stuff all they want. It's red flags everywhere. But anywho, I'm kind of fizzled out for tonight, so we'll go ahead and call it for tonight. So thanks to everyone who hung out with me. We were on YouTube, Rumble, and X. If you enjoyed it, feel free to follow me on any of those platforms, and you can check out my description to find my other social media, or on my X page, you can look at the link tree, find them there. Tomorrow will be probably just continuing some more Budokai Tenkaichi 3 playing, maybe some Infinite World, or maybe I can play, you know, actual Budokai 3, because that's my favorite, up until we get the new Dragon Ball Z game. At least I do. Thanks for hanging out. You guys have a good rest of your night. Actually, before we sign off, is there anybody you can redirect? Not at the moment. All right. Well, in any case, catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good day. God bless. Peace.